So we are currently doing this time machine from 4 different locations because we are self-distancing. We are doing it the newer way of doing it via Skype.
Yes.
How are you gentlemen doing before you interrupted me? How are you doing today, Lucio?
Yes. I'm good.
By the way, I'm here with Lucio Vasquez, Alec
Hello.
White, and Gabe Theis.
You got
Theis,
it.
baby. I did
All
get it
right.
right. I was just going to pause. They are currently, I guess, in the editing process of their new movie coming out sometime shortly called The Curse of Professor Zardonicus. Guys, thanks for being on this time machine the safe way.
Thanks
Thank you
for having us.
Thank you.
No
Thanks
problem.
for
guys.
interrupting me, Lucio.
You're welcome.
Thanks for interrupting, Lucio. So,
What?
guys, back in I think October, was it? October or September, I had Gabe and Lucio on, and y'all were talking about starting to film this movie. That was in September when y'all started filming, right?
Yeah, early September.
Yeah.
So now it's, I guess, the middle of March, near the end of March, and you're now in the, I guess, the editing process. Now, has this gone according to y'all's schedule so far, or do you think you're a little behind than where you intended to be originally?
No, we're good. We're good. We actually wrapped principal photography in December. I want to say right before Christmas, actually. And we're currently assembling the rough cut while I also reach out to different composers, color gradists, and everything is coming together according to plan. We'll see if that holds up with the coronavirus going on, but so far everything's looking good.
Yeah, we had in-person editing sessions beforehand, and now, since all of this has happened, it's become a bit of a problem to do that. So we've done it remotely. We actually, just before this Skype call, we Alec, Gabe, and I were actually on a separate Skype call without you, Andrew.
Oh
And
man.
we were just talking bad about you, and we were also no, we were editing.
Thank you.
We were editing.
Yeah,
We were
Skype.
editing Andrew's face over other actors' faces in the movie to make it more appealing.
Because my schedule was too busy, so you just had to do without me for the time being.
Yeah.
So how's that working with the Skype editing, Lucio? Are you just showing like a video footage of your screen and what's going on, or?
So I'm doing the share screen method via Skype, and I'm just kind of playing back, and I'm talking with both Gabe and Alec, and what they think, and then they'll do suggestions, and I'll pretty much do it on their screen. It's been pretty good. I've noticed it slows down my computer a bit more than I thought it would. I just built a new computer this week. I've had a lot of time on my hands. And it's slowing down a bit, but, we'll make do. So far, I think, I think I like it. I would much prefer to have my boys with me, but, go with the flow.
Yeah, this virus that we're currently living through is kind of taking a toll. You don't really realize the impact until you start noticing schools being shut down. So actual productions that are putting a halt on their production because of this virus that's being crazy. So it's pretty good that you guys got the filming portion of this done before before this thing happened.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been watching a lot of people either halt or just completely shut down their productions. Going around, obviously they're canceling the film festivals like South by Southwest. I think Cannes just canceled actually or postponed.
Yeah, Cannes just postponed.
Yeah. Our time was fortunate.
Yeah, it really was. So before we go any further, the $1 million question is, what is this movie about? Anyone can jump in on this.
Yeah, no, I'll go.
Do you actually know, Andrew? Is this the first time you're hearing it?
I partially know what it is. It's but we're reaching out to that one person that listens to this podcast, so they want to know what it's about. It's not one person, but it's the people out there need they
That's
need to know.
Andrew.
So
Andrew
what's
wants
this
to
about?
know.
I know. I want to know, man.
Andrew's for this. I'd like to see if you could actually like just
What?
explain the premise.
You're
of
cutting
the
out
movie,
a bit.
but, oh yeah.
Hold on, repeat
Yeah,
everything you just said, Gabe.
Yeah, but bear with me here. So the Curse of Professor Zardonicus is about a young college student, played here by Alec, who believes in the existence of this urban legend named Professor Zardonicus. And to help prove his story, he recruits a film student, played by myself, to make this documentary expose on his journey to prove Professor Zardonicus's existence.
So
Yeah,
is it? Yeah, is it kind of like is it found footage film? I've seen the trailer.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a found footage, yeah, all the way through. We're mostly from the perspective of my character's camera, but there are other times, other scenes where we rely on other perspectives as well, and we figure out ways to, incorporate multiple angles and cameras into the story.
Right.
Yeah, we're trying to be as creative as possible with the genre of found footage, because it's definitely a some could say it's a played out genre. Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch, all that.
Yeah.
So we're trying to find ways to make it more exciting, both in the filming of it, but also editing. How to make it seem raw and genuine while also seem exciting and unique. Yeah, and cinematic as well.
So, Gabe, you wrote this, if by my understanding, correct?
I did, yeah.
When did you start writing this?
The idea first came to me, I think, in my freshman year of college, and it was originally envisioned as a 20-minute kind of short film that I would do with a friend of mine. It was going to be unscripted and just totally a joke, but I actually started working on the screenplay that we filmed last summer. Yeah, the summer of 2019. It probably took me 2 weeks to write the first draft, and then a couple more drafts after that.
So yeah, we talked about the other films that are around found footage, but I guess what were some other inspirations for you when you were writing this?
Yeah, so there were I believe 4 films that we watched in preparation for this. We watched Creep, another found footage film. We watched American Movie, which is a real documentary. The Last Broadcast, which is kind of like the first found footage film, if you want to get technical, and then the Blair Witch Project. So those were 4 concrete inspirations, but this kind of blend of different styles that I've, kind of grown accustomed to in my filmmaking, and it's kind of an experimentation with those different ideas.
So Alec and Lucio, you both have worked with Gabe when filming The Dilemma of Winston Curp, which is another found footage type of film that was released, I said, late last year. And it's all on YouTube. It's pretty good. I like it. I enjoyed it. Alec's funny. All of you guys did a good job on that. So Gabe, when you met Alec and Lucio when you were filming, did you already have the complete screenplay for Zardonicus written out? Or when you met these guys, you're like, you know what? This is a group to do it with. I'm going to pitch the idea to them.
Yeah, it's actually funny how the timeline worked. I wrote the screenplay before I had known Alec before we worked together, and I had met Lucio, but we weren't real collaborators yet. And I wrote that before we did Winston Curp. And the way it kind of worked out, Winston Curp was more like a kind of trial run or a rehearsal for this film.
Yeah. I mean, there are some similarities in terms of like format and I guess how we went about it. And we kind of just ironed everything out that we think that could have been improved through Winston Curp for Zardonicus. I think
the most obvious one is that they're both kind of that found footage thing. But I would say that beyond that, that's really kind of where the similarities stop. Where Winston Curp was more of a like comical over exaggeration of this director trope. Zardonicus is more of a black comedy, raw found footage. It's real, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I mean, Winston Curp gets pretty, I would say, dramatic towards the end. I really enjoyed how we ended that. I really liked it. But I would say Zardonicus actually does get pretty real at times. It's not simply just it's a comedy through and through. But there are some real moments and some dramatic moments that actually aren't just there to make you laugh. You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't want to make the movie sound like goofy fun times all around. It gets pretty real sometimes, and I really liked it about it.
So when you, Alec, and Lucio read the script for the first time, did you have anything about it that you told Gabe and said, hey, we should try doing this idea a certain way? Did y'all have any inputs for him when y'all first read this?
Yeah,
or
so
for the most part?
When I first read it, I turned to him and I was like, hey, so we should do this, but instead we should make it good. No, I'm kidding.
Roasted.
Right in.
No. So I honestly, it's all such a blur because it happens oh so quick. Did we read it as we were shooting Winston Curp? I don't even remember.
I think he gave us the idea of it while we were shooting, or after we had finished shooting Winston Curp when we were editing. The first time I ever read through it was the day we met at the office and we had a read through. It was me, Gabe, you, and I think that was it, because it was just three of us the first time we read through it. Before we had the full cast.
The first time
before we had the full cast read through.
No, I think Kat was there.
Or it was just the three of us when we started reading through of it, and then we actually did the official table read.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that right? Okay. Yeah, see, this stuff, yeah, it's kind of, we started pre-production on this while in post on Winston Curp, so it starts to kind of blur together at a certain point.
Yeah.
But what I remember is we had finished shooting Winston Curp, and we were really excited about it and really excited to do something, even bigger. And I said, well, I do have a feature-length script. It's doable, but it's going to really demand all of our talent and all of our skill here. So I sent it to them, and they signed on to it.
Yeah. All really good timing. I remember I met Gabe we had met before very briefly, but we met. I think was it the summer? I don't even remember, but we were both. Like I was the second camera operator and he was like a camera operator and like a PA on this like documentary that was shooting in Austin, and we just so happened to answer the call, and we were both there and we got to know each other a bit more. And then he had already worked with Alec, and Alec is of course my boyfriend, and I love him very much.
We're lovers.
Gabe
and I actually met.
You're cheating on me?
No, I'm joking. No, he's my girlfriend. But
oh yeah, that's
so
right.
it all just kind of worked together because he already knew Alec, and of course I've worked with Alec. We both, Andrew and I, you and I, we have both worked with Alec.
That's right.
So yeah, it all just kind of worked out. We became a bit of a trio throughout Winston Curp, and then Zardonicus just kind of happened organically after that. We started the Kickstarter in I think late August.
Yeah,
right?
Late August.
Yeah.
And then pretty much I think a day before it ended, we started production.
Yep.
Wow.
We did.
Yeah.
Speaking of boyfriends and Gabe, that's actually how Gabe and I met. We did a short film through University of Houston called The Shortest Tree in the Park, in which I played a man whose lifelong goal was to become a tree. And Gabe, in a last minute rewrite, became my boyfriend. It was originally supposed to be my wife, but the actress did not show up to the shoot that day, and so Gabe shows up to set, and I'm like, "Who's this guy? Who's he playing? Like, it's only supposed to be me and this girl." And they're like, "Oh, he's gonna be your boyfriend."
Man, the Shortest Tree, when you showed it to me, I literally died because there's that because Alec, there's that scene of you in that tree suit, whatever you call it, ghillie suit, and the wood is on fire, and it zooms in on your eyes in the wood and back to you. And it's great. You're basically becoming a tree in that, and it's fantastic. Yeah. But so to the pre-production side of this film, as we were previously talking about. So indie film, from my understanding, it's in my own experience, when you're working on an independent short film, whatever it may be, everyone's kind of doing multiple jobs at once. So I'm sure everyone kind of had a hand in production. Everyone had as a producer, everyone had a hand as, I guess, what were all of your, I guess, positions at this film? Like, were all of you helping out with producing and things of that nature?
Yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head right there. We, Gabe was obviously writer director, but I would say
Right.
he was so much more than that. We were all producers, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I was director of photography. I'm also editing it. I was also assistant director and a producer. I was also doing the sound for a majority of the film, probably besides maybe like what, 4 days, 5 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably so.
So yeah, I did all the technical stuff essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Alec?
On my end, I was the lead actor, but I was also production coordinator. I got us a few locations for the film.
And cast.
Also producer, also just like miscellaneous grip, pretty much did
Right.
whatever needed to be done on set.
Moral
Yeah.
support.
Moral support.
Yeah, Gabe cried all the time, and
Gabe cried a lot. I had to hold him.
Yeah.
Rough. Some long nights.
Wait, so as we were talking about when this first started about a budget. So what was it like getting a budget together for this? Was there a lot of expenses, or was it, could y'all mainly get through with a lot of y'all's own resources?
Well, production itself, I'd say, was easier budget-wise, because we were using a lot of our own resources and everything, but most of the budget is going to go to post-production, because you have to hire a composer, a color gradist. You have to save up for the festival submissions, because those can add up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I mean, typically in my experience, post-production is the more financially demanding part of the film. I mean, if you have a small crew like us operating for production, not a lot of expenses to go around.
Mm-hmm. So what did you do to gain expenses? Y'all had a Kickstarter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a Kickstarter, and we posted our kind of crowdfunding video explaining what we were crowdfunding for, why we believed we had the experience necessary to make this thing a reality. We basically pitched, when we used Winston Curp as kind of our like stepping stool to say like, hey guys, look, we did this short film, 40 minutes long. We did it with no budget. Imagine what we could do with a feature-length script and a full budget.
Yeah, and like Gabe, we had the rewards, yeah.
So what were some of the rewards for y'all's Kickstarter?
A free poster, a copy of the script, a free copy of the film, and I think the highest tier reward is to be credited as an executive producer.
Okay. So, and from my understanding, Alec, didn't you tell me that y'all got y'all's goal like the night that it was due? With the whole budget, or?
I believe it was like, I think, what was it? I think it was the day before, or I don't even know, honestly.
I think it was the day before.
It was the day before that we got our budget, and the day it closed, we went over it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I think we had something like 45 backers in total, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when it's getting close, when y'all haven't quite reached y'all's budget yet, are y'all kind of, what are y'all's emotions at this point? Are y'all thinking is like, if we don't get enough, are we still going to be able to do parts of it, or just what were y'all thinking overall?
So we pretty much were set on making the film. Obviously, no budget means it's probably not going to be as good as we envisioned it, right? So, I think a day before, because most Kickstarters, at least Gabe was telling me, because I had never done one before, but most Kickstarters get get a lot of money towards the last day. They're more incentivized to I guess invest or donate because there's that time limit. And so I had a feeling that we were going to get a pretty good amount of the last day.
Okay.
we were, I don't remember what exactly the number was, but I remember we when we got to that point, like the day before, I was just thinking, if we don't make it and we have like an hour left, we'll just put our own money in and, go from there. Because the thing with Kickstarter is if you don't reach your goal, you don't get any of the money and everyone's refunded. So if we were like, say, 500 or something away, we were going to just bite the bullet and go for it. Thankfully, though, we have generous people who thought we were, making something cool, and we hit the budget and then some.
Yeah, most of this budget is made of contributions from friends, close friends,
Right.
Family members. Yeah, so we got a lot of support all the way through.
Nice, very cool. So what was did y'all have to have a casting call for this, or how did it work in general? Did y'all have a pretty big cast to begin with? Did y'all have to get a lot of extras for certain scenes? How did that part play out?
Oh yeah, I guess you could say I was also kind of casting director. I was in charge of the casting calls. I used a website called Breakdown Express, which I'd used before. Basically, it's a resource that reaches out to any actors that have Actors Access, which is a well-known casting site. I mean, the base cast was basically me, Gabe, and Kat. Like we were kind of like the three pillars of it. So we had us three starting off right off the bat. But then from there were smaller supporting roles that we needed to fill. And one scene in particular was a poetry slam scene in which we needed an audience and we needed a poet. So that was one instance where we put out a pretty big casting call. And I think how many people did we end up getting? Like
What, 15, 20?
15, 20,
Wow.
something like that.
Wow.
But many of the actors we're working with here are actors I've worked with previously, like Joshua Hancock, Jeremy Gretzer, Kat, a few times before this. So a lot of it was, building from connections that we had made previously.
Right. So y'all were talking about how y'all went over on your Kickstarter goal, and then you had 15 people show up to that poetry slam scene. When you see the outcomes of things like that, is it kind of like a boost of motivation?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it helps.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
morale can get really down during an independent production because there's just a lot of doubt and a lot of uncertainty about how anything is going to go. And, you're always comparing yourself to whatever else is going on, whatever your peers are doing. So, yeah, some validation like that definitely helped. But the core of the movie is really the relationship between me and Alec's character. So at the heart of it, it was always... It was never going to be about budget or production value as much as just getting that relationship right.
I'm a pessimist in nature, so whenever we set the budget to 3,500, right, on the Kickstarter, I was very pessimistic. I was very doubtful because again, this is the biggest production I've worked on personally.
Right.
Everything up until this point was no budget, very much like indie guerrilla style filmmaking, right? So I saw that number and I got scared. Then we hit the budget and then some. That was incredibly validating. We got great actors. We got a great number of extras. That was very validating. And so this movie has really taught me that pessimism probably isn't the way to go. Maybe humanity's awesome, and we have great supporters. And so yeah, so far. I mean, it's been really eye opening throughout this entire production. It's been really really good.
Right. And to go on the coattails of this, let's go ahead and jump into the production when you're actually filming. We just talked about having a boost of motivation and feeling like times where we've all gotten down. But what was, I would say, the biggest bump in the road for all of you when it came to filming this?
Good question.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as the writer and director, there's just a lot of responsibility, and I was acting too. So, I mean, there are times wondering, am I up to this task? I mean, writing the script was one thing, but to bring that script to life, especially with, $3,500 is a lot to us, but it's not a lot in terms of making a real movie. So you're just constantly asking yourself, can I do this? But when you have the right team, like that really just that's what's going to be your anchor through those times. And Alec and Lucio, like, man, they accomplished a lot. That I mean, they were just motivated beyond what I could have hoped for. And there's one scene in particular where I'm not going into spoilers, but we wanted a hallway to be dark, right? But we couldn't get the lights turned off because the building there was just a lot of weird bureaucracy about getting the lights of this one hallway turned off. So we actually taped over the lights with these trash bags, and that was Alec and Lucio's initiative. They said, "No, we can do this. This is."
I would say mostly Alec, to be honest. He took the lead on that.
So there's a little story behind there, but we had been searching for a location to shoot that scene for a while, and it was late o'clock at night, like at least 9 o'clock, I would say, when we finally found the area where we were going to do it. I had brought trash bags, like, preemptively, just in case, because we needed to be dark, like we said, and we get down there, they will not turn off. And so everyone's like, oh, let's just call it a night. And I'm like, no, we wasted so much time. I have tape, I have trash bags. So we crawl. How did we even get? We brought a ladder.
We brought a ladder. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a ladder that was too short. So I had Gabe and Lucio hold the bottom of the ladder, and these are like, I don't even know how tall ceilings, but they would hold the bottom. I would climb to the top rung and like stretch my body to its capacity to try to tape those trash bags up there. Then we got it all taped up, and we realized that the stairwell to get to where we were for that hallway had street lights on the other side that were shining down. So then that ended up with us making an entire wall of trash bags. We probably used 20 trash bags.
Wow.
And built like a full wall of them to block out
just
the
for
light.
that one section. We ended up staying out there, I'd say, until 3 a.m.
Wow.
Just setting up, I think, took like 2.5 hours alone, maybe 3.
Yeah, well, it didn't help that it was like the windiest day of the year, and it
trash bags kept flying around,
and they kept flying down.
Oh man,
that was a pretty bad day. I would say, like for me personally, like, I guess, it's not that, or let me rephrase that. We didn't necessarily have any bad days per se, but difficult ones. Like, like for me, since I was doing like the sound and like the video and stuff, at least I wasn't camera operator because it was a found footage film. So Gabe had the camera, but I was setting up the settings and doing all that stuff.
Okay, I see.
And it's just, some days it can get a little bit overwhelming. Kind of
right.
You have to set up multiple pieces of equipment, and you got to make sure that like the shot also looks good while also making sure the audio isn't like bad. And we had some like audio like issues at one point, so we had to like pretty much revise our entire audio setup. Like it was, it can be a bit much sometimes. Not that I regret it. I would do it again in a heartbeat. But at the time, it can be a little taxing. Right. You got to do what you got to do with these little these little films.
Yeah, these little films. So, well, would all of you agree that was y'all's biggest difficulty filming this?
What, you mean that day?
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I would say that was just kind of that was the most tedious day. I would say,
just
because I mean, had the wind not been there, had it been like 20 degrees warmer, everything would have gone just fine. It was all stuff that was out of our control. Like, we came prepared, we were ready to go, but some things you just can't change.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, it ended up turning out great. It looks awesome. So, mission accomplished.
But it's like, if you've ever been on like a real film set, like a sizable film set, like that's so different than the operation we had going on, that it was like, sometimes it would feel demoralizing. Like, we were just these guys running around, with a single camera, and it, like, from an outsider's perspective, it probably didn't look like we were like really up to much serious, but it's all about the end result. It's all about the story.
Right. Alec, you were saying that you were the one in charge of getting locations, right?
Not all of them. I would say I got some a few of our locations. one in particular, but I don't want to say what it is because it's a little surprise.
Oh, okay. So Alec, I know that you can be a little juvenile delinquent every now and then. Was there
You could
a
be a little
place?
annoying.
You can be
No, Alec, was there a place that y'all filmed but y'all didn't get permission to?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that building
Yeah.
actually that wouldn't turn off the
Oh,
lights. Well,
Okay, so a few places then. There were at least two that I can think of.
well, there
But
weren't
once again,
necessarily.
I don't think I can necessarily say
you don't have to
because
say what it is, but
Let me just say that we never were told that we could not film somewhere. We just
Exactly.
didn't ask.
yeah, we
So-
didn't ask and we didn't get caught, so we
But-
could film there.
but was there
Yeah,
a
we didn't get
time
caught.
when you did get caught, Alec?
Caught? No,
Oh, I know.
I don't think we did.
Do you have any confrontations with security?
Oh,
As-
no, we did. We did at one
Wait,
point,
did-
but again, that's going to be a major spoiler if we describe the scene
Yeah,
in which it
go
does
into
take
the scene.
place.
Yeah.
I'll just say it's a very intense scene. It looks very damning if a
Oh my
security
god, I
guard
forgot about that.
were to
I-
stumble
but-
upon such a scene. And he stumbles in. He's like, "Hey, what you doing?" And we're like, "Oh, nothing." And he's like, "All right," and then just walks away. So the security guard, again, I wish I could say why it would have been
Yeah.
damning. But again, that would have been a spoiler. So
Well,
let's just say
we
the
were
security.
trespassing and doing stuff we shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah.
And it was plain to see that we were in the wrong. And he just walked in and he was like, "Hey, what's up?"
The security guard did
You're
not
like-
care.
And he so despite it be a real situation and I was saying we're filming a movie, then that security guard would feel guilty in the future.
What?
I don't know what you just said.
What did you just say?
Moving on. Moving on. So, Gabe, you've talked about getting a composer for this movie, but guys, what's a good soundtrack for this film? What's some good songs you would associate this with? I assume one is "Life in the Fast Lane" by the Eagles.
Well, you're not terribly far off. So. when I
Oh
was
my!
writing-
Really?
Well,
Wow.
Let me explain. What when I write scripts, I often have like a playlist I listen to help inspire the screenplay. And there was one song that if we had the budget, I would love to use it, but as we have confirmed with their manager, we cannot.
Yeah,
The
we
song
cannot
is-
afford to use it.
Can you say what song it is?
I'd love to change the world by 10 years after the original version. I was hoping.
We emailed them. I emailed their manager, and it didn't take them very long to get back to me, surprisingly. But they said that is their quote unquote golden song, and in order to use it in our film, we would have to pay them $20,000.
I haven't even heard of it.
You
I
should
mean,
listen.
Maybe
song,
if I heard it,
but-
maybe
I'd
if I did,
love to change the
how's it go?
world.
It's like da da da. It's like just like that.
Oh, well, I know what song it is.
Yeah,
Have you ever heard of the little drummer boy?
Yes.
It's like that.
No, no,
I don't think so.
That one, the Christmas song.
No,
I
it's
don't.
not.
I think he's lying.
Rome,
I'm lying.
Rome.
I mean, they were very nice about it. We just obviously couldn't afford the song
Yeah.
itself, so we've been.
About it.
Yeah.
That was more than like 6 times our budget, so we just
Yeah.
had to.
Yeah.
So but right now I'm working with there's the score and there's a soundtrack. A soundtrack is made up of songs and a score is like more of a fluid thing that goes over the film. I want both, so I'm working with composers, but I'm also working with a friend of mine who has a band, and I'm working with them to compose some original songs that will make it into the film. So yeah, we're trying to have both because I think a song can be just as effective as a score.
And again,
Right.
this is kind of an avenue in which we're trying to, I guess, reinvent. I don't know. Does that sound too pretentious? I think it is, but essentially just trying to kind of do something different with the found footage genre, because you could see a lot of found footage films that don't necessarily have a score or soundtrack, maybe one on the radio or something in a specific scene. You know what I mean?
Right.
So again, we're trying to kind of make something unique in a way, more cinematic.
By having a score to it.
Yeah, and specific kind of musical parts.
Yeah, have the music be more than just background noise. Have it
Sure.
be part of the story.
Okay, that's very cool. Alec, what song would you, I guess, describe this movie with?
I don't know. Honestly, I've listened to I'd Love to Change the World so many times now that it's like the definitive song that I associate with it. Just because after we couldn't get it for $20,000, I was like, what would make a song worth this much money? And so I've listened to it a bunch now, and I like it. It's a good song. And I think it fits like the tone of the movie.
I thought you would pick Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Yeah,
that's what I thought superior song.
Kept getting those
probably a lot more money.
Oh
yeah,
God!
I emailed them too. They said 120,000.
No, we did not.
I imagine that's how much it is, though.
It's probably a little bit more than that.
More than that.
It's more than the other one. It's more than the other one. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So, Gabe and Lucio, since you had to go with Alec,
yeah, fortunately,
had to.
You had to. I made him cast me.
Well, Alec, you're a fantastic actor. All of you do a fantastic job with everything. But if y'all could get, I guess, one A-list movie star, even B-list, we'll go like that. What's one person y'all would love to have in this movie? Make a cameo of some kind.
There's an actor I've been following for quite some time. He's done some really good work that I really admire. His name's Alec White. He's he's a really talented guy, very underappreciated. Some say he might be typecasted, but I think that he has so much potential to do so much more. Alec Baldwin as well.
Who?
Alec Baldwin. No, I don't know. Alec Baldwin. His brother.
That's my brother. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't even know. What do you think, Gabe? You probably know more actors than I do.
Well, I mean, I honestly wouldn't recast the part because
well, if it wasn't recasting, just someone to show up.
Oh, just someone to show up.
Right. Just make a cameo, a little
I'm just thinking of
one-liner.
the actor I hang out with the most at this point.
Yeah.
Because that's all
Leo,
cameos are there.
Denzel. Hopefully not Tom Hanks because he has coronavirus.
Yeah. Rest in peace, even though he's not dead yet. But
honestly, though, I feel like a movie like this, it might actually take the viewer out of the experience if they were to suddenly see like Leonardo DiCaprio or something.
Right. Because it's found footage.
So I honestly
120%. It's got to be Will Ferrell as Professor Zardonicus.
Hey everyone! Is that a good impression? I don't know.
Is that what he sounds like?
Hi, Will Ferrell. And the actor, it'd probably be an actor like from the Blair Witch Project, like one of the three actors, just to kind of pay homage.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
I like little nods like that, but like just a gratuitous celebrity cameo. Like I get that you're friends with Leonardo DiCaprio. I get that. I wish I were friends with him, but I'm not, and you don't have to remind me that I'm not friends with Leo DiCaprio.
I would put Lil Jon in the poetry scene just as one of the people sitting in there. Yeah! Alec, the poetry scene, that was a Station Theater, right?
Yeah, we reached out to Station Theater, which if you don't know what Station Theater is,
yes,
it's an improv and comedy club in downtown Houston, 1230 Houston Avenue. They have shows every Friday and Saturday night. I think they also do Sunday shows. I don't know when the next one will be because of this Corona stuff, but a little shout out to them because they let us use their theater. They were very accommodating.
Man, Corona. All right, so when is this movie, I guess the other $1 million question, when is it going to come out so I can see it?
Probably sometime in May.
Yeah, the thing is, it was... I'm sorry, you go ahead.
Sorry, I've been having to move around for technical issues, but it will be released in May. I'm wondering what the festival circuit is going to look like by that point.
Right.
So we don't know when it's going to be released publicly, but our backers are going to receive a copy in May.
Yeah.
What festivals did y'all submit this, or are going to submit it to if you haven't already?
Oh,
you
yeah,
haven't
I mean,
because it's not edited.
yeah, it's not
The Austin
fully
Film
completed.
Festival is a big one.
Right, yeah. Just send them like clips, like, here, you edit it.
Just send them like the full like terabyte worth of footage. You're like, here, this is the movie-ish.
It's a choose your own adventure movie.
Yeah,
you have
figure
to
it
get
out.
into what you want.
It's an RPG movie.
But yeah, we you know, these are uncertain times that we're in right now. Very unprecedented, you know what I mean? So a lot of things have been canceled or postponed, or you know, it's kind of worrying for many reasons, but
Sure.
it just regarding the movie itself, you know, we plan to have the final cut by May, and who knows what the state of the world will be in at that point. You know, who knows if all of the movie or film festivals will be like canceled, you know, you know, because the distribution of this film, I would say, kind of heavily relies, I guess, on the film festival circuit. You know how it does, because a lot of films are picked up at said festivals. So we were kind of just gonna play it by ear by then, you know.
Right.
I guess worst case scenario, and I say worst loosely because it's not terribly bad, but worst case scenario, if you know all the film festivals are canceled and whatnot, we would probably individually try to pursue distribution with like companies and whatnot, and then if that doesn't work out, I don't know. I guess self distribution at that point.
Yeah. Well,
Self-destitution.
Distribution. I can't speak.
well, a hope and a prayer that everything gets worked out, like for real. But making this indie film, what are y'all hoping to get from this besides great experience and just saying, hey, this bragging rights, I made this with friends of mine. What are y'all hoping to get from this?
Well, I mean, priority number one is to make a good movie that we're all proud of. I think it's a really unique movie, and it has the chance to make a big impression on audiences, you know, the people who see it. So I hope that it'll help us, I guess, brand ourselves as artists. I mean, that's, you know, all you can really hope for from any project.
Right. Yeah, you know, I think you know, you can see kind of like a small kind of indie film and think like, okay, they're just like hoping for the best with this. But honestly, I just again, like I just want to reiterate what Gabe said. I really just want to make something good. I'm not necessarily seeing this as a stepping stone into the industry or anything like that. Honestly, I just want to continue to make quality content, I guess. You know what I mean?
Right.
I have no idea personally where my career is headed. You know, I'm not exactly trying to pursue a career in the industry with this. I just want to make something good that I could be proud of personally. Because at the end of the day, you know, you can be 90 years old and you look back on your career, and if you've only made like movies just for the money and you've never actually been invested both emotionally and intellectually with all of your art, right? Then what's the point of doing any of it, you know? If you can't be proud of what you've done with your life, then why do it, you know? So I'm proud of how this movie is coming out, and I'm going to be proud when it's finally released, and then I guess just see what happens from there. You know, we've already got some projects that we're in talks about after the editing of Zardonicus. So you know, we're always going to work, no matter if the world is on fire. We're going to be creating until the very end.
Right.
Yeah. And not to beat a dead horse here or anything, but pretty much the same thing. Just to make something of quality that shows people that just because it's an indie film doesn't mean that it's poorly made or that it wasn't well done. I mean, and personally, it's one of the more serious roles that I've had the chance to play. Probably one of the only ones, really. I mean, not to say that the role was like super serious or anything. Like, there's definitely comedy to it, but this is definitely the most real character I've had the chance to play, the chance to kind of like show what I got here and there. So I'm thankful to Gabe for that. And I'm thankful to Lucio for capturing it all and making it look good. But yeah, this is definitely something to be proud of. It's definitely something that is it's more than just a movie to us, because it's kind of like it's our baby. We've been making this since September. We've put everything we had into it, and like Lucio said, if this is the stepping off point, if this is the best it can ever be, then I'm completely proud of that, because this is a good movie, and it's something to be proud of.
Right. So, me kind of, I guess, being in a similar boat as you guys, being a creator of content, if you will. I've been told no a few times in my life. I haven't been taken seriously, I guess, because I'm young. But was there a part of this movie that y'all couldn't do, that y'all wanted to get done because y'all were told no by someone, or was y'all have any sort of doubt by others, or weren't taken seriously because of y'all's age, still being in college?
No,
the only
we
Oh, but by the way, Gabe, you're breaking up real quick.
You're cutting out a little bit.
Get a good connection, and Lucio, I guess we can start with you till Gabe gets his bearings back.
I can't. I don't know what you were saying, Gabe, but I'm just gonna. I remember that specific location where we were talking about the dark hallway.
Right.
We had a little bit of an issue getting a location for that scene at first. Just because we're not specifically being told no, but we were just kind of given the runaround a bit. You never explicitly given permission, So that scene in particular, that location in particular, comes to mind. Thankfully, we were granted generosity by a lot of people. Because again, there's a bit of a ageism, if you will. They see that we're young guys. They kind of attribute that to like they don't know what they're doing, blah blah blah.
Right.
But honestly, we weren't really affected by that. A lot of people that we talked to and did business with were very polite, very accommodating. So I guess we got lucky in that regard.
Sure.
Can you guys hear me now? By the way?
Kind of.
A little bit, yeah, a little better.
I will go and give reins over to Alec and Lucio for the remainder of this.
I would say, like Lucio said, we got lucky, and he is right. Age is usually associated with talent or experience in this industry, which isn't necessarily always true. You could be 85 and be a grip, and that's okay.
Right.
But I mean, you got to start somewhere, and some people start earlier than others. Like I said, we didn't. I don't remember personally ever experiencing any times where we were explicitly told no. It was more like kind of like what we said. We filmed in some places we probably shouldn't have filmed because we didn't explicitly get permission. Right. But a lot of times in those instances where we were met with no, or like this might not work, or this we might get in trouble for this, we usually persevered, and we were like, well, if we get in trouble, we get in trouble. What's the worst they're gonna do? Put us in jail?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the kind of indie spirit behind the film itself. No matter what, we get what we need.
Right. So a few more before we wrap up here. But when times are getting frustrating, when y'all feel like maybe backing out of this, if y'all even had that, but just when times are, I guess, when you're feeling the lowest of the low, when you're making something like this, because I know it can be very difficult, but what was that motivation to kick y'all back into gear, saying, you know what, I'm going to ride this out?
I fist fought Alec once.
Oh,
he lost.
Yeah, he beat me to a pulp, and we continued working. No, I don't think. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but I never once thought of backing out. I hope you guys didn't feel that way. But
when I walked on the set the first day and saw Lucio, I was like, "Nope,
yeah." Again, it's just we want to make something good no matter what. So that's kind of how we persevered through. I would say, I guess more difficult times I do want to preface, like, I don't want to say, like, we didn't have any super difficult times. We got, like, maybe frustrated a few times. But, I mean, I don't know. Unless I'm just, I have, like, rose-tinted glasses looking back. What do you guys think?
Well, also keep in mind, we're under a responsibility to our backers. I mean, we're paid to make this film, so that's that adds to your motivation. But like
No
Lucio
backing
said, I mean,
out.
they're frustrating. Yeah, no. But honestly, like, I mean, I've worked on some truly bad sets, and if you can make it through those, then you can definitely persevere through, some rough times on an otherwise good film with, a good team.
Yeah,
It
no,
helps that we're
definitely.
friends too.
Oh yeah, it helps that we're all three friends and that we're so close. Because like Gabe was saying, I've worked on some really bad sets too, where you can tell they're just doing it for a paycheck.
Right.
Like no one likes each other. Which I mean, in this industry, it's hard to be friends with everyone you work with.
Sure.
But in our situation, we got lucky, and so it didn't make even the longest days, like the trash bag day, didn't feel like a bad day. It just felt like we found a solution to a thing we've been having a problem with.
Right.
And I mean, it definitely would have been difficult if we weren't all friends and we weren't all as invested in this movie as one another was. Because I think we're all so invested in this that we're willing to go above and beyond and do like even the most absurd things to make this a good movie.
Yeah, at one point, Alec
you'll
was
see
driving my car, and I was just in the back of the car in like the trunk area, just cradled with the with the wireless lav system in my hand, just listening to his audio as the scene played out. So
yeah, and keep in mind as you're watching this movie, Darren doesn't wear glasses, my character, but I do, and I cannot see anything without my glasses. So every driving scene you see, just remember that Gabe was utterly terrified because I couldn't see anything on the road.
And Lucio was
driving my car.
Oh man. You don't have your name on the insurance, Alec.
Exactly.
Or
so
are you Lucio?
I am Lucio. Expose.
Guys, since we're all in our own humbled abodes, away, socially distancing, and we're all quarantined, what's the best quarantine movie in your opinion? No, not movie about being. I was about to say movie not about quarantine, like 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I can talk for hours about. But like, what's it? Just a good movie when you're sitting at home, can't go outside because you're gonna die, kind of movie.
I would say wait a few months. The Curse of Professor Zardonicus.
Amen. And in the meantime, the dilemma of Winston Curp.
Yep. Serious answer. Give me.
I thought that was a serious answer.
No, another serious answer. I don't know. I mean, I would say I don't know. Let me look at my Blu-ray collection right now and get back to you.
I mean, I actually have been watching a lot of. Does anybody watch Mystery Science Theater 3000?
I do not.
I have not.
Haven't. You're the only one.
Oh no. Well, I mean, you guys know the setup. It's a B movie is playing while these guys and robot puppets are riffing on it, and that's been my go-to thing for this entire pandemic now.
I wouldn't say I have a go-to movie. I just really like to watch, I guess, good movies. I don't know. It's a very like cop-out answer, but like I like to like all the like previous Academy Award nominees and stuff like that. Because personally, I've been lagging behind on actually watching the movies, which as a filmmaker I probably shouldn't admit, but it's an embarrassing fact about myself. But yeah, like the other day I watched The Master for the first time. I really enjoyed that, and so just going through the award-winning movie section on Netflix is probably a good time right there.
That's true.
What about you, Alec?
Personally, my go-tos for any situation in which I'm bored and need something to watch on Netflix is always The Office, Fight Club, or Little Shop of Horrors, the one with Steve Martin.
All right.
Those are my three go-tos.
Those are three go-tos. Did y'all watch that Honey Boy movie?
Oh, I did. I liked Honey Boy.
Me too.
You did or haven't, Gabe?
I haven't yet. But
What
I
about
want
you,
to,
Lucio?
sure.
I haven't. No, I still want to though. Yeah.
Man, it's on Prime. I just got done
good.
with it today. Y'all need to go watch that, man. It's kind of some of it is, I guess, dramatized for what really happened. But when you just look at the relationship between Shia LaBeouf and his dad, and you're watching Even Stevens season 1, and you're thinking about what's going on in his home life, man, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Right, Alec?
And Shia plays his own dad.
You can't watch
Yeah.
Transformers 1 way. Yeah.
Dude, the what? Yeah, Transformers 1, man. Think about what he was going through. I love that movie. I better go watch it. I have enough time.
You have enough to watch the entire franchise. So
Yeah,
you should.
probably.
No. Just I like the part in the first movie where he's buying the car and Cedric the entertainer is the car dealer. He's like, "Hey, Mom!" And the mom flips him off.
That's Bernie
funny.
Mac, bro.
Oh, Bernie Mac. Sorry.
Cedric the Entertainer.
I thought Cedric the entertainer is dead.
No, Bernie Mac is dead.
Ah, man, I get
Hey, actually,
No,
I do have a good a movie recommendation. When it came out, it was underappreciated because Angry Birds came out at the same time, and it got demolished in the box office due to those animated birds. But Shane Black's The Nice Guys is a great film, great performances, really funny. I really love that movie. It's just in times like these, I guess feel-good movies would be nice. So that's a good film.
Yeah, and that's a film about the porn industry. So feel good movie.
Well,
Wait, whoa, what was that?
It's not specifically about. It's
Wait,
more
what?
so private eyes of detectives in the 70s, I think, 60s. I don't remember.
Where'd you get porn industry from that?
Well, it's a kind of plot point. It's
like Boogie Nights.
kind of. It's set around.
Yeah.
The same.
Yeah.
Right.
Dirty Dancing.
No, well, okay.
Footloose.
Sure.
Oh, that's a dirty film. Footloose. Sorry, Gabe. What were you saying?
I don't even remember. I think we're just watching movies now.
Well, that's all right. Hey guys, where can we find you on the social media platforms? Where can we find this movie page on the platforms?
Let me look at my Pinterest real quick.
So we have a Facebook page, the Curse of Professor Zardonicus official Facebook page, and an Instagram page, which is just Professor Zardonicus. You can follow us at both of those and receive constant updates, BTS photos, etc.
Yeah.
What about y'all's so are you thinking about releasing this on like Netflix and Amazon and stuff?
Oh gosh, that is so Amazon Prime would probably be an option. We'll see where it goes. Netflix, that's a lot harder in terms of
right.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Right. Well, hey guys, thank you for wanting to come on here and talk about your movie. I can't wait to see it once it comes out.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for
No
having
problem,
us.
guys. Well, good luck with it. Getting the editing and all that together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andrew.